one more thing we forgot to mention is that when we replace the printer chassis with another one, we also have to, originally there's one cable missing. This is the cable for power supply for the lamp, which goes to the connector of the UV lamp. So we have to add one more cable to the harness, and this will be how we do it. The cable will be put behind the current existing original harness, so it can be the first one going in front. So the first thing we will disassemble if we need to replace print head or other stuff is disconnect the cable from the lamp, then all other cables. So how this is done, we will pull out the original cables from the harness. It's a bit tricky, but when you get the hang of it, it's not that hard. So what we need is to pull the cable to the outside, and it will go to the right side if we look the printer from the front. So it will be like this. Now, when we got the cable inside, we will also put back all other cables. Usually it goes from front to the end, but let's just try to this folded side should be a bit more inside, like this. It's a bit tricky, but if you practice a few times, shouldn't be that hard. There, we got it inside finally. Now we need to put the upper side also behind this plastic piece. You also have to be careful not to chew any cables. Got it. Finally. Fix everything inside. That's good. And now put the harness back in its place. Perfect. Here you can adjust the cable length if it's needed. Maybe straighten up the harness a bit if needed, and you also need to pull this cable through the plastic that holds the cables inside, like this. And then you put everything back in its place. Fix the cable a bit. And there. Check if everything's going smooth. Think it is. So that's how you do that part. And now when you fix the print lamp to the head carrier, you just plug in this cable here and other part to the power supply, and you're there. So the next thing you have to do is to drill some holes for the UV lamp holder. So if you're replacing some stuff on the old chassis or replacing the completely new chassis, put in the completely new chassis, so you have to drill some holes on the new head carrier. So how the holes are distributed on the side you can see on the old head carrier, and you just copy paste that situation to the new carrier. So we can see that one hole is in this first upper part. It's easier when you pull the carrier back. The other is on the right side, somewhere over here. We can see that these two holes are placed on the I don't know how to call that, on this stripe that goes on the side. So you might wanna cut the stripe off so you can catch the drill bit easy to catch the plastic. So we will do that. So it's the second stripe from the right. So over here you cut a bit of plastic for the drill bit to catch the hole, and the other is on this stripe over here. So just chip a bit of plastic over there too, so it's gonna be easier to drill. And the other hole is somewhere over here, maybe. see if everything fits on properly. Should be, but you never know, maybe you have to readjust something again. It's a bit off, but nothing too serious. Yeah. I think we are good with the 3 holes, and the 4th hole, which is this one on the right side, needs to be readjusted a bit, maybe a bit more to the right side, so we will just widen the hole a bit. Yeah, I think that's gonna do it. Let me just check the lower holes. Yeah, I think we're okay. I think we could go on and put the screws in. These pipes could be a bit readjusted if it's needed. We should do that too, but let me just try it like this. Okay, so one screw is already holding it in place. That's the second screw, fits perfectly. These are a bit harder to get inside because of the pipes, but it's also possible to get them inside. I think I'm gonna be needing the thinner screw for this one, or maybe got it nevertheless. more screw. Something seems to be a bit off here. I think it's a bit, the hole is a bit on the right side more than on the left. Yeah, I got it this time. So I think this is it. So we will be changing the print head also, so I won't be connecting this cable, maybe just to test it out like this, but when we change the print head we will fix this cable over here so it doesn't get stuck anywhere here when the head is moving. So we will now just check if anything fits good. So as you can see, maybe there's a bit, this piece of plastic is just touching the lamp a bit. This can be maybe adjusted with these screws on the head, or other thing is maybe this can be cut for a bit, couple of millimeters, should be couple of millimeters off. So we will go on and cut a piece of this plastic and metal over here. So now that we got this part shortened a bit, you can see that the lamp is not touching anything. It goes through well. It's a bit crampy over here, but it has some space, just exactly just how much is needed. And if you look the print head from the lower side, you can see that the lamp is a couple of millimeters taller, or placed higher than the actual height of the printer head. So there will be more space between lamp and the thing we print than the print head. So this is how it should be. And one more thing we need to do besides putting in the harness, an extra cable. Actually there's one cable that doesn't have to be inside the harness, but it's easier to put it outside the harness. And in original printer 1500, it's going from the motherboard through the harness to this contact for cartridges, for chips on cartridges, which if we're gonna use the printer as a UV, we don't need that there. But what we need is resetting chip. So this cable going to the contacts for chips are going here into this resetting board. It has a switch on. So since it's not gonna need any contacts inside. Because we are using dampers, we will just pull out this cable from the harness, then put it somewhere aside from behind, because if we need to do any kind of repairs or replacements, we can do that easier if the cable is outside the harness. So that's what we're gonna do. So the first cable for the lamp we had to put in, and cable for contacts we will actually pull out from the harness. So we have to disconnect the cable for the lamp and remove the plastic that holds the cables inside. Pull out the contact board. It's a little tricky part, but as you can see, you have two pins from each side that need to be pushed back in order to pull the contact board out. So this is the cable that we have to remove. Contact board can be stored for some other repairs or projects. So we free the cable from the side going to the head. This is the harness. So actually we'll have to remove all the cables because this cable is at the bottom of the harness. So let me just pull all this out, and then we'll put everything back. So this is the cable. It's number 7, so it's second row with 4 connectors, the last one on the right, if we go left to right. Okay, so now we have to put all these back. It's a bit a tricky part, but can be done when you do it a couple of times. It's easier. And there you have it. Now, this is the cable we're gonna use from the outside. Harness is back. Place that back, and we have to place the lamp power supply cable back like this. if there's a need for any adjustment of the lengths, be sure to do it right, and then put the plastic holding the cables inside. Plug back the power supply for the lamp. That's it. So now when we put all together back, we will just plug in the cable 7 and place this somewhere over here where it's most easy way to get to it if it needs some replacement or repairs or anything like that. It's much more easier to be placed over here than in an original place where it's mounted. So that's what we are gonna do after we connect everything else together. And so when we got all things sorted out on the printer replacement or the chassis itself, we have to fix some things here with the bottles that are supplying the head with the ink. So we will be mounting this CIS or with the dampers on the print head, and this other part of the tubes will go inside the bottles, plastic bottles, so they need to be black because of the UV ink. UV light or sunlight will affect the ink. We don't want that, so we need black bottles. But these bottles, since it's used printer, they have a lot of this goo inside the bottle on the bottom, so all of that has to be cleaned out. Also, this ink that remains on the outside beneath the this how do you say can't remember what's the word for it, but you have the ink inside and over there. All of that has to be on all bottles, has to be removed, because UV ink is pretty aggressive ink, so whatever can be cleaned before the new ink is added in has to be cleaned, especially with the white ink bottle. And also this carrier for the bottles, as you can see, the ink that spilled over when ink was adding it, how do you say it, it was aggressive to the paint of the carrier, so this black paint peeled off basically. So also what else we need to do is to put something in that will soak the ink that spills when we add the new ink. So we won't be filming that, but we will, when everything is completed, we will show you how things looks in the end. But we will be filming the mounting of the CIS and some other stuff on the printer, and we're almost done, almost 100% complete. One more thing we have to do here. Some of the printers have auto reset board for the cartridges, but this one so happens to have the manual resetting board. So and it was originally made for 1319. So if it's not automatic, it won't reset Epson 1400. So actually we had to replace also that resetting board with another that will reset 1400, but the difference is that now you have to make the reset of the cartridge manually. So we've placed this new board, and also there's one more metal box that all of this is placed in. So if it's gonna be for manual reset, then best thing to do maybe is to mount it back here at the original place where the manufacturer mounted it. And in case if you have auto reset, then it could be placed anywhere here inside where there's no ink flowing basically.